the technology has gotten our kids to see things that they were never meant to see. There's this false sense of maturity, this fake maturity of, because I've seen this thing, it's changed me. It's those four things. The physical will tell me what's real. Mm-hmm. My body will tell me what's real, and I need permission to obey it. Mm-hmm. And I need to be accepted into a broader community. And I need to start despising what I've grown up believing. Whatever's familiar needs to be despised so that I can have room for enlightenment. And those four things, I believe, are the criteria that the world has taught our children is the way to reach true certainty in this world. Because if you look at the movies that they're watching, this pattern comes up every time. Whether it's a Disney movie or Pixar movie or whatever it is, even books that are made for children. I mean, that's what makes these homeschool conferences so amazing is you get to go and see media that's designed around God's word, or at least principles from God's word. Right. Because everything else out there, you think, well, they didn't swear. There was no, bad scenes or whatever. But the underlying philosophies that are teaching these kids, the familiar is boring, walk away. I mean, does Beauty and the Beast teach you anything more than they had a whole song about how boring this whole world that you grew up in is? You need something more exciting. And at the end, she doesn't even learn that that's bad. Yeah. She learns that
it does encourage reading, though.
Yeah, and that's nice, right? But at the end, she was smarter than everybody. Everyone was an idiot but her, and chasing a beast was the right thing to do. Right. So what when you look at these movies, you can see this criteria. All four may not be there, but one of them at least will be there in movies made by unbelievers.
Yeah, some aspect of it for sure. It's in everything. I mean, it's in the music that we listen to, and you can't get away from it. I mean, even you go out. We would go out in public, and we would hear a song in a restaurant or something, and my girls would be singing along. Especially my oldest. I mean, she has this ability to hear a song twice and she knows like every lyric to it. I'm like, how do you know this song? We don't listen to this. And she's like, I hear it when we're out and about, it's playing in the restaurants, it's playing at the stores. But yeah, I mean, our kids are inundated with this secular worldview because that's really what all of this is. And we have been inundated with this for a long time, but what is it that makes this generation, today's kids, unique in this? Because I feel like, I interviewed Isaac Tolpin a few months ago, and he was talking about we are just in unprecedented times with our kids today. We really are, with social media, with TV, with books, with music, with all of the things. We've always had Satan on the prowl and on the attack of families. But there's something about this generation of kids that are up and coming and, I want to say maybe like millennials and below that have been greatly impacted by this secular worldview. What is it that makes this generation so unique in this?
And let me just say, every generation thinks the one coming up are terrible. Yeah. I think if you go back, everyone thinks, oh, what's wrong with these kids? It's terrible. Yeah. And I get that. However, there is something different. If you look at how technology changed in the year 2008, in 2008, the smartphone came out. And not everyone could afford it yet. But if you look, even Netflix has done a special on what has happened to young people since 2008 when the cell phone came out. Suicide went up. Depression went up. Pills that kids take, it got younger and younger that kids were taking these antidepressant pills and all this other stuff. And what I think is going on is that we have kids that were just like us when we were little, but now they have technology that is so easy to bring in sin. Yeah. I mean, if you were a kid when I was a little kid, in the 80s, if you wanted to see, pornography, you had to go to a gas station. You had to embarrass yourself by grabbing the magazine and buying it in front of the guy and all that sort of stuff. And it just wasn't worth it.
Right.
Now you have sixth graders that are being handed smartphones because mom and dad are worried, the kid's going to be out, playing sports or something or with their friends. How am I going to get a hold of them? And so this phone ends up in their hands, and that you now have access, not just to all the pornography in the world, but you have access to everyone's thoughts that they are posting online, everyone's images that they're posting online. Now you have pressure to post something interesting online. And the technology has gotten our kids to see things that they were never meant to see. I mean, at all, let alone at that age. And so there's this false sense of maturity, this fake maturity of, because I've seen this thing, it's changed me. And I think they think that's maturity, but what it really is damage that has been done to a young person who has been exposed to something they never should have been exposed to in the first place, especially at that age where they don't have the categories to really deal with it.
Right.
And so with all of that, yes, we have a very different generation that's in desperate need of adults.
Yeah.
And we have technology that is separating us more and more.
That's such a good point about kids feeling like they are so much more mature and, they know all the things now because they really do know a lot of things. The things that my girls have come to me with, questions that they've come to me with. We have a very open relationship with our girls. And so I've always told them since they were itty bitty, you can ask me any question. There's nothing in the world that's going to surprise me. And there's no question that I won't answer in its appropriate time. But they'll come to me with questions and I'm like, where did that question even come from? I mean, I never, make them feel badly for it, but I'm thinking, these are questions I didn't ask some of them till I was married. And my teenagers are asking these questions because they're things that they're exposed to. And we're very careful about what our kids are exposed to, but still they're talking with other friends at homeschool co-op and at church and other places. And their curiosity gets to them and they're like, Mom, what about this or this or this? And I'm like, oh, what? It's so, it's overwhelming, really. And so, it really is no wonder that this generation of kids are confused. They're disillusioned. They don't know sometimes what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down. And so we have a big job to do as parents. And it's one of the reasons, of course, why we are grateful to homeschool, because we have so much more influence in our kids' lives when we are with them, most of the time, most of the days out of the week. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.